All right, this is a reorganization meeting. I passed out some of these sheets for committee selection. That will come back around, and the new chair will pick those committees. I don't really have anything to do with that. That being said, anybody want to make a motion for?
Who are the new board members?
We don't have any.
Okay.
Susie was re-elected, so she's still here. The board had 2 openings. They still have 2 openings. They had 1 write-in, and that person declined. So, here we are with one big happy family sing everywhere. That's fun. Any recommendations? Nominations, what's that?
I said, I hear Newport has an appointment coming.
Okay, we'll take it when they're cool. Any motions for chair? Veronica?
I nominate Robin McNeil as chair.
Okay, second?
Second.
Chad? Any other nominations? Motion for them to cease? So moved. So moved to cease nominations. All those in favor of Robin? Opposed? Okay, you're all set.
Thank you very much. And so with that, we will be appointing a vice chair. So do I hear any nominations?
I would nominate Chad for this
Do I hear a second?
Second.
There is any other nominations? I'll nominate vice chair.
Second.
Nomination for Veronica. Any other nominations? Okay, here we go. All those in favor of Chad? Those opposed?
I have 4 him. How many opposed? Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Okay.
And all those in favor of Veronica? Those opposed? I'm sorry.
I guess I don't understand how this works.
We used to do it by ballot.
Yeah, it should probably be like that.
Yeah.
We haven't had 2 people, and so when we do the chair, it's 1 person, 1 vote, and that's what we've done with that. So if you want to do
Vice chair should be the same, but it should probably be like that.
We can do it by ballot if you would like. So, do we have any paper?
It's about, we have
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
You're enjoying this last year, aren't you?
Mark thought it was his last year. So, it will come back to life.
Were you before the bus on Saturday?
What?
Were you before the bus on Saturday? Like, did you come up before the bus?
Oh, no. I was like way before the bus.
Okay. Because I tried to stay, like, I tried to catch, Greg and Amy, Betsy and Sean, you were the one person I couldn't catch.
That's because my food transmission is
This is
truck
vice
on the
chair.
way, so we had to like,
I got some more.
Did you get back in time?
we made it to the driveway long enough for me to fly up here.
Yep. So what we'll do is you write down on your paper who you want for vice chair. And we'll collect them. And
Who are the candidates?
Chad
Veronica,
and
Chad.
Veronica. So when you're ready. I'll take the hat.
Gotta see your right tonight, Mark, when I came in. We had a big, oh, no, I was just coming to do this. I was like, what the How are you? Jenny?
Did Chad vote?
I gave it to Mike.
All right.
Susie.
Trying to get yours here. So would you like to count them? Yep.
Four for Chad and 8 for Bob. Correct? Chad, 8 for Bob.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Very good, so moving on. As Mike said, Susie, I'm glad you're back with us. We'll be waiting for Newport to appoint a couple of people, and then we'll be full steam ahead. Also, if you didn't have the opportunity to make out your committee assignments, send them in or email them, and we will appoint those positions.
They're on their desk, they're on their bed.
Do you want that? You changed the meeting date.
Oh, yeah.
It's off.
It's all, is there any adjustments to the agenda?
Yes, there is. Yes, under C, just 7, new business, D, resignations, add Grace Hall server at Coleman Streetville High Middle School, Will Stecker music at Spassky Valley Elementary School. Nominations, add Annabelle Dennis, grade 1 teacher at Somerset, Keeling DeRogi, I think that's how you say the name, high school social studies at Coleman Streetville High, Darcy Stevens, grade 2 at EDS. Appointments, Brittany Clark, Ed Tech 1, pre-K at Spassky Valley Elementary School, and Emma Erskine, Ed Tech 1, special ed, Somerset.
Very good. And with that, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the May 7th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the floor. And Chris. All those in favor? Those opposed? It passes. Moving down to public comment. If there is anybody in the audience that would like to address the board, this is the time to do so. We ask that you tell us who you are and where you live.
Do I
Yes?
need to stand up?
No.
No?
No.
Robert Horster, down in St. Albans. Just wanted to take a second to introduce myself as the newest selectman for the select board.
Congratulations.
Good to meet you.
Thank you.
Was there anything else you wanted to address?
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
Maxine Corey, I'm really happy the budget passed first try.
Thank you. And thank you for coming to all those budget meetings and sitting with us while we deliberate over things.
You almost need a new
That's
superintendent.
why it passed the first time.
What?
You almost need a new superintendent because Miss Paré has a hard time driving and over.
You should have seen you. I did it on purpose.
Maxine,
I was checking his reflexes.
I take back what I said.
Checking his
Walk across
reflexes.
the street?
I was checking your reflexes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maxine, that payment's canceled.
With that, is there anyone else in the audience that would like to address the board? If not, thank you very much, and we will move on to reading of communication.
I have nothing other than the administration update.
Okay, we'll move down to report.
Yeah, mine will be really brief. I know you guys are already talking about it. It's, I wasn't at the game, but it was a wonderful performance of our softball team down there winning Class B championship, 2-1 against a team that beat them York last year. So it's an amazing accomplishment. for the whole team. They had their ups and downs this season, but they pulled it out all the way through the end. So that would be something we'll try to get them here, maybe this who's around this fall, potentially to get them back in front of us and just congratulate the team and the coach for that. And the other thing would be that all the events that happened at the last few days, it is just frantic and crazy. But I got a chance to get into the buildings and see the kids, and graduation was hot as usual, but it was pretty smooth, and it's always a wonderful to hear the kids talk and, you know, Mary do what Mary does and get through that ceremony. So that's it.
Maybe a letter to the coaches.
Sure.
To let them know how proud we are of that softball team. Board Chair, thank you very much for electing me again, and we are going to take the month of July off and maybe possibly have a meeting towards the end of August, but other than that, we'll pick up committee meetings in September, unless there's something crucial. We all need a break. So with that, budget.
We didn't have a meeting, and I don't foresee the need for a meeting before August, September. Right, Joe?
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Very good. Any questions for budget?
Good job again, guys. It's
Thanks, sir.
been nice seeing, it's been a lot of years in a row.
Second that.
And just really appreciate the work you guys put in on that committee. You're good.
Thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? Moving on to building.
Well, we met on June 4th. The big project now is the EDS boiler room. They had walked through that day with doing a bid walkthrough for the scope of the work. Can't remember exactly how many it was, but I think we have 6 or 7 contractors who have expressed interest in bidding on this, most of which have already done work for the district and are well known to us. A lot of this is going to be spec'd out. Part of it is going to be bid. The bid is not just it's not just the money, it's also the scope of work to be done, when it gets done, the pattern by which it gets done, so that it provides the least interruption of the process of school. The other thing that came up on that was how we would fund that, and one of the questions we will have is whether we take it out of the budget directly or whether we take it out of the fund balance, the capital reserve versus financing and putting it in the budget. The other piece of this that we've started to think seriously about is a standalone generator to take over in the case of a power outage. Particularly with that school being a little more isolated than some of the others, that's an option that we should think about. Auditorium, as you may remember from if you were around for the building project, the back wall, the practice room, was meant to be removable, and the original concept had a bunch of seats mounted on the very back outside wall of the practice room, which would slide forward and provide about 120 more seats to the auditorium. But what we're working with now is another option that will open up that wall, and it puts about 80 seats back there, but gives more room to move around. So we're seeking bids on that, and we'll report out on specifics at a future board meeting. And then we have a couple of projects going on in the summer, redoing the office space in the bus garage, completion of the JROTC building and the food storage building, And we should have a lineup somewhere along the road to have tours of those two facilities. That's what we have.
I'll give you a couple more specifics on the project if you want. We actually put it out to bid, nobody bid except Nickerson O'Day and Oak Point, which is kind of good for us. They actually have cleaned out that whole back room right now. Today we met with Tyler from Oak Point, from Nickerson O'Day. On Monday, they're probably going to start pulling that wall apart. We've already picked the fabric for the seats. It's not exactly like the one they have right now because they're just out of stock or they don't make it anymore, but you won't be able to notice. We're going to have a sky wall, a sky fold, which will fold up. We're trying to order that in the next couple of days so that we can get that on the way. At least the hardware that holds it so that it will be able to go up in there. We may not get the whole sky fold right during the summer, but we'll have everything purchased and on its way. So that's really a cool project, and I owe it all to Lori and Mary. Lori it was kind of her idea once we saw some concerts this spring and had some money left over in that grant and did some very creative writing on that project, but it was fit right into all the number of kids that are involved in our arts and drama programs, so it's really kind of exciting. And it will be a cool flex space in the back. We're going to take up the carpet so that you can use 2 sets of bleachers or 1 set of bleachers in another space for other purposes. So that's really pretty cool. So thank you again, Mark.
It's exciting.
We will tour those buildings. I also remember I mentioned to you that our new JROTC gentleman would like to do name that building, so that's kind of still in the works, and probably do some type of opening to call that in the fall too, when the students are back and we're all refocused. At the bus garage, we're building a new office for Larry. I'll get him on the agenda in the fall so you get a chance to meet him if you haven't met Larry. Larry starts July 1st. He's the transportation director. He's driven for us for a long time. He lives in St. Albans. We're going to add an office in the back so he kind of has some privacy, and there's some workspace up front. So that's a project that Alicia's doing with our own maintenance guys and doing some creative window purchasing from local vendors and things like that. So that's another little project that's ongoing.
Any questions? Moving on to education.
It was so long ago, but we briefly discussed the early adoption grant program for taking 3- and 4-year-old special needs. It's a program that is starting. We're adopting it early, but eventually it's going to be coming to the schools anyway. We're just stepping up and taking it early. And it is Somerset and Sebastopol both doing it in conjunction with CDS, right?
Yep.
And I don't think we're getting money for it, right?
We are getting.
We're not paying out anything for it.
Right. So, you may finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we actually met with all the pre-K teachers today because they've got some questions, and this is the group that we meet with the State Department every Wednesday at 3:30. Stella and I are the lead on this. This is trying to get our eyes and our hands and our services to our 3- and 4-year-olds. It's actually 3-, 4-, and 5-year-olds. As soon as possible, we start to screen them. We start to case manage for them right away instead of waiting for CDS. We use some of our own service providers, and this funding for year 1 and 2 probably is outside the central programs and services. Joe and I and Stella are trying to set up a meeting with Paula Gravel, who's now the budget guru from the state, and figure out what the actual price is, because there is, again, these are between 25 and 40, and we're trying to still dial in the number students that will be out. There'll be a figure that's compounded because they're special ed students outside, so it could be $7,000 or $8,000 per student. We don't know that. We're trying to get that information, but that will bring that money in so that we can hire a couple other ed techs and maybe a coordinator to help coordinate this. But the thoughts that we picked are, And the students, a lot of them that we've identified were already coming to us. So when the teachers look at these lists, these are either those students that they've seen, they've had their siblings and those types of things. So we're not overloading or putting anybody on a list, a waiting list to take these students. These are slots that we pretty much already have. Down the road, would I say that we may have to add when people figure out that the school can do this and do it better than CDS? Probably we'll have more waiting lists and more slots to fill, and potentially more classrooms, but we'll have the funding figured out. So it is something that I've told multiple people and told the teachers today. It's not going to be perfect year one when we pick this up. When we start to do our own screening, when we start to do our own child find to find these students, it's going to be bumpy. And again, if we have a high needs special ed student in a placement right now, we're not going to jump to bring that student back necessarily, because we want to work with the parents to continue the programming, to continue whatever needs to be done, and take the students as our staff is ready. So it's a work in progress, but we do think at the end of the day, when we can get our eyes and hands on these students sooner rather than later, it's going to be beneficial for the students to know our teachers, to know what our providers, and to just to get them in the system sooner.
Chad?
Do we have, where are the spaces in the building?
They're in their regular pre-K classrooms already.
They're going to be with?
Yeah. We've been doing this at Heartland for
Right.
a long time. Like Haley is the teacher there. She's certified as a 282, which is a special ed certification. She will teach those students as she would in her classroom. If we have to push in at Sebastopol with a new special ed teacher with a very small caseload, she or he may push into the classroom. We're hiring an Ed Tech 3 out at Etna because Sally's is a little more full, but and the caseload of that regular special ed teacher is pretty high, so we're going to use an Ed Tech 3 to help support that area.
Right.
Is this all grant funded?
This is all state funded outside the EPS formula. It's not a grant, so to speak.
So it's funded by the DOE?
Yep.
To you?
To us.
And is it 100%?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Moving on. Policy.
Policy committee met and reviewed a number of policies that had not been reviewed in a while, and we have some changes to some of these policies to accept for first reading tonight. First one being changing schools within RSU 19. I would make a motion.
Was the motion that you were going to make to take first and second reading at the same time, because it will be quite a while before second reading comes if we're not here?
It sure could be. I would make a motion that we accept for first and second reading, changing schools within RSU 19.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. Any further comments?
Well, I'm just going to say, in this particular policy, it's really just minor changes.
Any comments? All those in favor? Those opposed? It passes.
The second policy was admission of non-resident students. And in this case, I'm not sure if I would make a motion to accept for first and second reading, in part only because I believe what we have in front of us is incomplete.
Looks like it cuts off page one.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine to do it either way, but this one seems like more substantial change, and I believe it's an update for the Maine School Management Association's most recent language. So I would make a motion we accept for first reading at the very least this policy.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Jason?
And it looks like it just cuts E off part way, which for some strange reason I had the actual copy of it.
I think you're right.
fine, we'll make it a first reading and bring it back.
Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Those opposed?
And I believe this is the third and last, is a recommendation to eliminate the tuition waivers policy. So I would make a motion that we
Which no longer applies.
correct.
Second.
Motion to remove.
Did I hear correctly, you want to do away with this policy?
This policy, I believe, was based on when RSU 19, or when SAD 48 and 38 were consolidated.
That's older than I am.
Pretty close.
We don't eliminate many policies here, right?
So I think it's irrelevant now, and it's just an
And it-
effort to clarify or to clean up the
And it had
policy.
also expired, the date of the policy.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Yes.
And finally, we have for second reading, pest management in school facilities and on school grounds. And I would like to propose an amendment to that, which has been added to the copy that we have in front of us, which is to add best management practices into that policy. And do we need to consider that amendment separate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's already
I was
written.
gonna say, it's already.
It's already in the policy. It's highlighted in blue under 4.
As the amendment.
As the amendment.
Okay. So second on the amendment?
All right, we have an amendment to add to that policy, so all those in favor of the amendment? Those opposed? Very good. Now we'll vote on the entire.
And then I would make a motion to accept the second reading, pest management in school facilities.
Second.
Right.
Question, and excuse my ignorance, who's the IPM coordinator?
Leisha.
Who?
Leisha.
Okay, and I noticed that before we do any spraying, we notify certain people. Do we notify the town of Newport who has drinking water sitting in our backyard about spraying?
I cannot answer that question.
So every time we've sprayed, I've received a notice as a parent.
I'm sure they probably do, but I don't have that answer.
So when you initially are creating a school, they ask you how you want to be notified.
I think Ray is asking specifically like the town manager, the town office, the water access to the town, relating to
Exactly.
the watershed.
I'll insert that because that's our drinking water for a lot of people's drinking water.
I'm sure that state law requires
I'm
it.
pretty sure.
What's that?
I'm sure state law requires that we notify them.
This policy might be just a touch different than that, but I bet Mr. Hammer could find out if we have that kind of communication with the Newport Town Water District. But to what Susie said, Susan, essentially what the initial change to this policy did was it removed that format for notification and is replacing it with using the district-wide notification via email and phone. Just to clarify.
Probably easier.
Yeah.
We could pause just a second. Mike may be able to get that answer for us. We can move on. There's no transportation committee.
Nope, we'll meet in September on the 30th.
And we probably will,
Probably what?
we'll probably find out the new director and have a chat with him.
Yes.
At least at that point.
Yep. Talk with Larry. And Tri-County, this will be my last Tri-County report. As I'm pleased to announce, I will be the new welding instructor for the new welding program.
Congratulations.
So, we got a lot, we had a great meeting in May. It's our wrap-up meeting. The chef puts on a great 3-course meal. We all get fat and happy, and then we have over our business. Darling's Ford has partnered with our automotive program for the last few years. They actually donated a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 for our kids to work on, to learn the new systems. And there's a lot of new programming that's in these new cars. And this was a damaged, brand new in transport, so they donated it to us.
I was going to say, it looks suspiciously like a 2018, and then your truck's that truck's.
No, yeah, it's a Ford. And they also, they took the automotive team classes down to Epping Speedway in New Hampshire for the NHRA Youth Education Day, and they got to be in the pits, and they got chartered buses. So our partnership with Ford is strong, and they do a lot for our kids. We also have employment agreements with them. They pick out certain students that excel above and beyond, and upon graduation they get a internship, a toolbox, and they start working for Ford. So just one of the many partnerships that we've been able to cultivate. Our building trades program, we are starting to pick up building houses again. I don't know how many people were here back 8 or 10 years ago when our building trades were actually building houses. So we're doing that again. There was a groundbreaking on the 6th of June for the next house to be built, and so that will be an ongoing project over the next year or so. We're revamping the whole space over there to allow for the welding program. They're going to erect a 40 by 60 new building for the building trades on a pad that's already out there. So we just trying to find there's some the welding program obviously is starting in the fall. So, yeah, that's about it.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Please.
So do we see it as a conflict of interest if you're doing the welding program and being the board rep?
Yeah, so I will no longer be on the tech council. I can't vote for anything regarding the cooperative agreement.
Oh, right, it is a voting.
But because I'll be employed by the town of Dexter, similar to Karina Karen, I can remain on the board. So, if you'll have me.
We made sure of that. We made sure of that.
But I just hope that somebody will remain on the tech council and take as much passion as I have had for the last 10 years and continue to support that program.
Yeah, that piece of it's
So
unfortunate.
if that is of interest, let me know. So, did you get an answer?
I did get an answer, and we do not currently notify the town, but we can put AJ's cell number or the town water district in. I don't know how you want to put that in the policy. I mean, we can put it. He can be put into the notification system, or you can put that in your policy that you'd rather have that.
Well, our policy does say public.
Yeah.
That's just something to make sure.
So if you want to make sure that we just add that to the notification system that it goes to Newport,
I would, an amendment.
or do you want the amendment? Just tell me how you want.
I'd like to make an amendment to the motion to add that we notify the Newport Water District of any pesticide applications.
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna put that like in our mass notification system we'll be using any pesticide, include it, and then put it in that section.
Yeah, including
Newport Water District.
Newport Water District.
Any water.
Does that satisfy for Ray?
I,
Smart.
I mean, I don't really care one way or another, but I would think if we were concerned about this, we may want to reach out to the Newport Water District and find out if they would like to have that kind of information and in what form would they like to have it. I mean, they may be more interested in, like this kind of notification is really just meant to notify people so that they don't go into the grass during the REI. They may be more interested in learning more like a yearly accounting of the amount of pesticides, rates, that sort of thing.
Well, that has to be done yearly anyway.
You want to table it?
Yeah, like I said, I don't care either way, but I was saying if we are concerned about this, we may want to reach out to them and find out what their interest is in obtaining that kind of information, as opposed to just their phone dinging.
We have a motion on the floor. Right?
Well, this gentleman, I don't care whether it is, but we still have to pay attention according to the policy to the state. So a matter of notification for me is okay, because we can't use a pesticide that's not approved by the state. So it's a matter of just saying, you know, we're gonna spray, any problems with it?
We have an amendment, motion on the floor. Do you want to vote on it or rescind it?
Vote on it. Vote on it.
Vote on it. Oh, remember, who made the,
Jason.
Jason did.
Myself. Second by the chair.
Yep. Okay, all those in favor of the amendment, which is notifying Newport? Any opposed? That passes.
Now, is it up to myself to make a motion to accept all policy? I would make a motion to accept as amended best management in
Second.
school facilities and those programs.
Second the motion.
All right, any discussion on that motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Thank you very much, it passes. We have no old business and new business. The ESSER project and anticipated expenditure FYI 25.
You've got these in your packet, but there's a few $1,000 difference that the DOE has changed since you got these, so I just thought I would give you one. So currently, we still don't have our final allocations. These are our preliminary allocations for the titles that we received. Hopefully by the beginning of July, they'll be final, and usually there's only a few $1,000 difference when we do get those final allocations. So for Title I, we're receiving $876,106.38. Title II, $163,693.54. Title IV, $89,669.74. And Title V, $14,135.86. So what we're looking at for Title I staffing is full implementation of reading recovery in all of the elementary schools, Title I support in all elementary schools, Title I support at the middle school, full implementation of literacy coaching in all elementary schools, and ongoing professional development for our interventionists. And that dollar amount comes to $970,175.04. And then the materials for Title I programs, just keeping up the current books and supplies that are needed for the supplemental services that are provided. Family engagement reservation, that's a mandatory set aside. And so that's $11,000, and that we send our summer mailings, that comes out of that. Our Homeschool Connections, that's K-8. Any workshops or conferences that will support improvement of our family involvement. There are individual events held at the elementary and middle school, typically twice a year, at least twice a year. And then if parents wanted to do book studies or have a library of resources, that's something we can spend those funds on. And this past year, we had Ranger Rick magazines that went home with students who received Title I with some explanation to parents about how they could read with their students and do some fun activities with them. It may not be Ranger Rick. We may look at another magazine because they've been hard to reach and not real consistent with sending the product. So we're looking at, students really love periodicals that have nice visuals, and it teaches them a lot of good nonfiction reading skills. So we will definitely choose another periodical that still fits that bill, but one that is that's easier to work with and more consistent in sending the magazines. Kindergarten Jumpstart, now that we don't have the ESSER grants, that was, that's such an important program, so I wrote that into Title I so that we make sure that that is available for our students entering kindergarten who need that. And then it's mandatory set aside, the $200 to support homeless students just helps to take the edge off the transportation costs. And then the ESSER, the Title I coordinator, part of my salary comes from that title. And then Title II, professional development, $45,654.62, and that supports professional development for teachers and ed tech, and that might include graduate courses, workshops, book studies, conferences, or professional learning groups. And then the ESSA coordinator, $1,904.02. That got changed because a lesser amount comes out of two for my salary, but it's mandatory that if part of my salary comes out of one grant, that another part does have to come out of the second one. So that's how that's factored. And then Title V, the $14,135.86. It's utilized for the same things as the professional development, so it's just under a different title. So our total anticipated expenditures based on our preliminary allocations is $1,143,605.52. In order to maintain the level of Title I staffing, we're allowed to transfer funds from one title into another title if we need it to support initiatives that we feel are important. So in order to maintain our Title I staffing, I would recommend that the Title IV funds be transferred to Title I and $115,038.92 of Title II funds be transferred to Title I, so that we make sure that we maintain the level of interventions. And it seems like a big decrease for Title II to do that, but we also had carryover. Last year and the carryover out of Title II, we've been able to cover about $70,000 for professional credits and conferences. And then I do have some additional carryover, so that will help support what's not covered locally, along with that additional $45,000 and the $14,000. So we've been able to balance between local and Title II to cover all of the coursework or conferences that teachers want to go to.
What's the initiative for Title II?
Professional development. So that
Transferring how much?
Transferring 160, I get my reading glasses, $115,038.92.
And who is going to get hurt by that? Faculty, students, administration?
It's not, so it's not designated for students, it's strictly designated for professional development.
Staff development, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Staff development?
Staff development. But I would say at this point, we've never expended it all and had the staff not be able to do something that they wanted to do, because we can't supplant the local portion of that, so, which we do have a good-sized local portion that goes into professional development, because it can't be all taken under the titles, because then it's considered supplanting and they would reject the application.
So you're not allowed to supplant, but you can supplement.
Yes, yes, it's all, this is all supplemental,
Thank you.
which is what all the interventionists are supplemental staff.
Okay. Any questions for Lori? You are looking for a motion?
Yes.
The budget?
Yep.
Supplemental budget?
Yes.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second on the floor to accept. All those in favor? Oh, you had a question, I'm sorry. Chad?
Just wanted to say thank you very much, Lori, for all you do. This is an incredible amount of work that you do on this, and people with you, and it's so needed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All those in favor? Those opposed? It passes. Moving on to authorization for superintendent to hire during the summer months.
Make a motion that we authorize superintendent to hire at his discretion or during summer months until we reconvene in September.
Second.
Second.
Motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Those opposed? It passes. And certify results of referendum vote on June 11th, 2024.
I would like to move that we certify the results of the referendum vote on June 11th, 2024 that passed our budget.
We have an official.
Actually, there's a real specific motion that has to be.
It's too hot, let's cut it short.
I agree.
Go ahead, Chad.
No,
read it
Chad-
out.
Sure, that's why Chad's got it.
She's the vice chair now.
Chad, read it.
He's a man on shore.
This is Jenny's fault, read it.
Voted that the computation and declaration of votes dated June 18th, 2024, and attached hereto be approved, and further voted that the computation and declaration of votes be entered upon the records of Regional School 19, and further voted that a certified copy of the computation and declaration of votes be sent to each of the municipal clerks within the Regional School Unit 19.
Second.
I'm sure I heard you say that.
Teamwork.
There's a motion and a second on the floor to certify the vote. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Those opposed? Glad it passed.
And you have two things to sign that are coming around on that side. Just two. Certifying the votes. Thank you.
Staff resignations.
Madam Chair.
We will not need to read them.
Okay, thank you.
We are not making him read them because it's quite a lengthy list, but staff nominations, we do.
Yes, I'll read these through because there's a couple added. Karina Cooper, grade 7 science at Homer's Regional Middle School. Erica Mitchell, grade 1, Sebastian Valley Elementary School. Beth Gordon, grade 1, Somerset. Lauren Pierce, grade 6, ELA at Homer's Regional Middle School. Angela Guy, grade 8, math at Homer's Regional Middle School. Lisa Levitt, speech, Sebastian Valley Elementary School. Sadie Dillon, English teacher at Homer's Regional High. Michelle Catherine Copeland, science teacher in Combs Regional High. Annabelle Dennis, grade 1, Somerset. Keeling Baroji, social studies, Combs Regional High. And Darcy Stevens, grade 2, at the next month school.
I move we accept these as a block.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor to take this group as a block. All those in favor? Those opposed?
Move the block.
We have a motion to move the block. Do I hear a second?
Nobody knows what that means anymore.
No. We
just voted.
enough.
No, you voted to take them as a block.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
You didn't vote, approve the block.
So we have a motion to take the block.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor? Those opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you. Staff appointments. We do not need to take action on these, I believe. So we won't make Mike read them. And staff transfers?
No action.
I can read
I have a
these.
question on staff transfer.
Sure.
I don't know if it's appropriate time.
Yep.
Okay. So I just want to know, maybe this is just a silly question, but number 4, how does grade 8 ELA transfer over to science in high school? For, you know, how she taught? I'm just curious, not her particularly, just in general, like, how do you go from one subject to another, and especially in a different grade level?
It's elementary education.
It's not, I'm sorry.
K through 8 is.
She's going to high school, Chad.
Oh, I thought it was 8.
It's high school.
You can carry both certifications. Usually, it's, sometimes people come to that part and they're ready to transfer to something else, and they maybe have a passion about science or something like that, and they have that conversation with Mary, like, Mary, do you think I can handle this? Is it entry level, you know, early science that I can handle? It's not like, you know, chemistry or, you know, deeper science that you might want somebody who has a concentration with, but they have the fundamental skills in science. They want to try a different grade level because they're done with 8th grade and they want to go to the high school.
Would she have to
She's gonna,
get her high school endorsement?
yeah, there's going to be some work that they have to do.
That was my question.
Yeah.
And how does it work with, where they're outside candidates interviewing for the science position?
Our science
Pardon me.
positions are very, very difficult to fill, especially when you have 2 of them. With high school.
Is she certified?
She's going to be conditionally certified. She'll have some classes to take. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure it is, because I think there's a lot of resignations.
Yeah.
Which is difficult.
Like, do you know how many open positions you have right now?
Not really, but I think Jane has a 1st grade that she's interviewing on Thursday. Joe, you kind of have a sense of that? I don't think we have that many, actually. Knock on wood.
It's online.
You don't have a bunch of ads out there in
No,
school, so it's
no.
good.
You have a close. We are close.
Yeah.
Stella, do you have some few ed techs or no?
I just have 3.
Yeah, ed techs we're getting a lot of applicants actually for ed techs right now. Yeah. We got that speech person. That was great.
I saw that
Yeah.
at a big small facility going over.
Yeah.
That'd be cool music, because he played an instrument and we did that one class practice and drum or something. I don't know, it's pretty funny.
I'm really excited to see Melissa Duncan going into literacy stuff.
Any other questions for student, teacher transfers? If not, future agenda items. If you have anything that you would like us to discuss at a future meeting, if you don't have anything now to add, please think about it and let me know. Next meeting dates, we are going to try to hit it in September, but if is an emergency or very important for us to meet in August, we'll let you know. Other than that, good night.